All right, we are live. How's it going, everybody? Okay, I just had to double check that real quick. Let's get the chat boxes open. Okay. All right, we are good to go. Hello, Kick. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. You guys are having a good one. We recently switched the build up. We are now doing Smite hammers on Void Knight. Currently moving our way through Corruption 100. Turn that up just a little bit. So I was doing a vitality setup, but I've since moved to this. We might move back. We shall see. The Apocalypse set was fun. It definitely did some damage. All right, let's get into it. We're doing baby levels of corruption right now. Switch from our good old faithful Void Cleaver Racing Strike. Video for that is out now. I did not miss that boat. Playing Void Cleaver Racing Strike, I did not miss that boat. Just eats all my hammers. Oh my gosh. Let's try this out. Yeah, let's try this. Yeah, I think I want to do this and then this. Go into Last Wish. This is really nice. The Sigils of Despair. I don't know how worth it this is. Happy to see you. All good here. Glad to hear it, RoboPower. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back, man. Yeah, I don't know in this application how good Mad Alchemist is doing for us. I mean, we're only getting the 6, so 6% more spell damage per negative ailment. I think we're better off with that. And then the build guide that Maxwell put out actually calls for a Ron Warp, but I can't find a Ron Warp with 2 LP on it. This is the only Ron Warp I've ever found this cycle. Yeah. I think we're going to take that off. We're going to go back to the Assassin's Crystal one. If only we had whatchamacallit on it, spell critical, because this is a T7 critical strike chance, but spell crit goes much higher. I kind of wanted to fight Lagon without pushing the corruption to, you know, almost 300. Just I don't know what the build can handle yet. It does feel decently strong right now. Like, we're kind of just walking around and everything's just dying. It's like dead. Yeah, so we could probably push up the corruption here. We should also probably look and see what kind of jade amulets we got. Ooh, right. Oh, yeah, if we remove. Okay. Yeah, it's near max. Okay, we dealt with him pretty easy. Let's pump it up. We're gonna be in the 300s, but let's pump it up. Okay, so here's something that I feel the Void Knight version gets right. Because when you're casting your hammers, your echoes start going crazy and they start adding to the hammer pool, right? There's now so many hammers, we get really good coverage with this. I like that. That was one of my chief complaints with the Paladin, the hammered in Smite. is sometimes there'd be like a gap in your hammers, but with Void Knight, you get a lot of hammers. Okay, 329 corruption just immediately. Hey, Garrett, how's it going? Found your vids today. Have a nice stream. I appreciate it, Garrett. Thanks for stopping by, man. Alright, cool. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, we started at 100 corruption, but you know, we were playing a bunch of different other Void Knight builds. So I already pumped it up to 329 and the build is still cooking. Like, I might even go over down here to the Black Sun. There's a blessing I gotta get here. Oh, this one's only 279. This one's gonna be a cakewalk. I didn't know what to expect from the build. So I put on my baby shoes and was doing 100 corruption, and it's crushing. Still has some of the same problems that the Hammerden does. Mostly in reference to if you find like a wall or a statue, they'll eat your hammers. That's frustrating. It's super noticeable on Void Knight because we got way more hammers because of echoes. Like, this is a shining part of this build, I think, are the echoes. We have certainly way more hammer, a lot more coverage with the hammer smite on Void Knight. Like, I might even prefer this over traditional Hammerden. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Garrett. if you don't already have a +3 to Void Cleave, then that anchor should fit in nicely. But if you're already using like a +3 to Void Cleave, then it kind of sucks having to give that up to use a no LP anchor. But the beautiful thing about that anchor is your endurance cap with just that anchor. So it has a ton of versatility on its own, but I 100% sympathize. If you can't get a +3 Void Cleave onto it and you're already using that, or a +4, it's like, unless you're doing a different format of Void Cleave Erasing Strike. I personally like having extra levels in Void Cleave, so, but I'm sure there's different variations out there. Yeah, for sure. So if you had watched my most recent video, you probably saw that we were able to get a +3 Void Cleave in health onto a 2 LP anchor. This right here is probably one of the most shiny moments of this cycle, is this item right here. I wish we found it earlier, but like, damn. I'd say that in this Omnis right here, this 1 LP Omnis. I mean, I've never found Omnis with LP, and I found it in the cycle. I've just had so much fun on Void Knight. I've had a ton of fun on Paladin, but I might actually cycle start Void Knight for cycle 2, or whatever they're gonna call it. I know they've been calling it by the patch name 1.1. To me, that doesn't really feel like a new season. 1.1 sounds like a mid-cycle patch, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's not, but it feels like it is. You know, 1.1 feels like you're still playing in the first cycle with some adjustments. Oh, that's your golden item? Yeah, dude. Yeah. So in beta, I actually didn't run crit. I ran critical strike multiplier. If you had seen that one, I'm not sure if you had, but I ran critical strike multiplier with the obliterator node. But this cycle, I was like, let's try it out with the melee crit. Like yourself, I got a T7 melee crit onto a 1 LP apathies. And honestly, it might be the superior version. Like, you're losing out on some damage from the crit multi, but you have a lot more consistent damage because you're almost critting the entire time. And so both your Void Cleave and your Erasing Strike are doing work. Though I do like the fact that if I decide to cycle start as Paladin, I'd probably do like some form of Void Cleave Erasing Strike. I like the fact that I can still pump out some damage by investing a few points down here and grabbing Obliterator. You know, without anything on my axe or two-handed sword or whatever I'm using, I can immediately get a guaranteed crit until I can get something. So I think that's why I'm heavily leaning towards cycle starting with Void Knight in the next cycle. Because I was going to go Paladin again. Paladin was so smooth, so fun. I was looking forward to it, but I think I'm going to do Void Knight. Paladin is just so... I mean, you get Holy Aura so many of your resistances on Paladin are taken care of, especially at a time when you have like no shards to craft your gear. So that frees you up in the early game, the early you're looking for stuff, to just focus on other stats than trying to get resistances on your gear. I mean, you still got to worry about resistances, but you get a lot taken care of. No, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. I love long messages. It's just, especially when I'm playing it like at higher difficulties, as long as you understand, sometimes I can only read it after I'm done with the echo, but at this corruption, with the fact that this build is not trash, I can read it. You're definitely going to play Paladin next. Started playing LE as a werebear. Got that to 100. Werebear's fun, for sure. Then you tried Warlock, you didn't love it. That's fine. I haven't tried Warlock yet myself. Honestly, I played a Necromancer, got that to like level 95. It was hella strong. It was probably better than anything else I had going on, and honestly, I just like Sentinel more, so I 100% feel you. Paladin is a ton of fun, man. Like, every time I play Void Knight, though, it's like, oh man, Void Knight feels so good. But at the same time, Paladin was the reason why I started playing last Epoch. So for me, Paladin's like let's say this is the top of a bar, right? And this is it. This is like where Void Knight is. I know it might be kind of hard to see. This is where Void Knight is, but sometimes it feels like Void Knight is even with Paladin. And then I go back and play Paladin, and I remember all the reasons why I like Paladin, but then I go back and play Void Knight. I like all the reasons. It reminds me of all the reasons why I like Void Knight. One of my more out there builds this cycle for Paladin was a Void Cleave build that I was trying to make as close as possible to Void Cleave Erasing Strike. Obviously, we can't do that on Paladin because Erasing Strike's only on Void Knight. But I was doing my best to do like something like that on Paladin. We called it the Master Yi build. That's what chat named it. So yeah, but Paladin is definitely, at least, well, I'll know for sure when I start next cycle and I'm playing Void Knight. Proc Smite and Void Cleave. That'd be cool. A little extra damage there. Yeah. First I was thinking of Aurelis, but then you're already probably 2 steps ahead of me on that one. You can't use it because it's a one-hander. Has to be a two-hander. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to proc it. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah, it does. The only problem I'm mostly having with it right now is it's causing my FPS to drop. Like, I didn't get this when I was playing Hammered In. I don't know why the Void Smite is causing issues with the engine. I know it's not my computer. Because, like, I was streaming Void Cleave yesterday with almost no performance losses. It's just certain builds with a lot of effects can cause issues. I think that just comes down to game engine. But yeah, it looks really cool. If you zoom in here, you know the little sigils of hope? Well, it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can't show you outside of combat. Yeah, this is... So if you zoom in, you know those little sigils of hope? They look like little light beacons that float around you. Well, if you take this node in sigils and you convert them into void, it just looks like you sucked all the light out of it. Like the light has become corrupted. I just think it's so cool, man. Just like these little details. And they're technically not even sigils of hope. They're now sigils of despair. I think it's cool. And your echoes can echo them too. So you cast them a few times, they'll cast it for you. Yeah, I didn't notice them before. That's only if you take this node, Sigils of Despair, which I never do. So, I mean, sigils do not increase health regen. Yeah, but the damage they give. I mean, think about this. I mean, look at this. So we're getting the 20% extra damage per sigil from Empowered Sigil. And then we're getting 15% extra damage per sigil to void damage with the Sigils of Despair. Just the whole aesthetic is awesome. Oh no, we're not listening to the doorbell song. Does the anchor give 60% endurance even though it says 40? I was overcapped on my endurance after getting the anchor and couldn't figure out where I was getting the extra 20%. Very simple answer. And I could just tell you, but I'll show you. So here's the endurance, right? I have no other endurance on my gear. Well, actually, no. I have no other endurance on my gear except for anchor. I'm going to take it off. I got 20% endurance. Where am I getting that from? You start with that by default. The end. Everybody starts with 20% endurance with a cap of 60%. So you only need to find 40% endurance onto your gear. Unlike critical strike avoidance, unlike resistances, unlike, fill in the blank. That's why Anchor of Oblivion is essentially best in slot for just about any Void Knight build out there. I mean, there's a few builds where you might want something else, but yeah. Not everybody knows that, so I just figured I'd show you. Alright, let's move my face back over here. Yeah, of course. Glad I could help. Oh, by the way, thank you for all the likes over on YouTube, guys. I really appreciate that. That helps us out a lot. Hey, what up, Marvel Man? Do my eyes deceive me? Is that the legend himself over on Twitch? No, that can't be the real Marvel Man. He hasn't been here in a while. I'm kidding, man. How you doing? How's it going, bub? Yeah, it's the real Marvel Man. Everybody, we found him. All right, call off the search parties. Somebody contact the FBI. He's no longer a missing person. Yeah, I figured. Life's happening over there. Yeah, that's typically the case. Hope you're doing well, though. Above all else, even if you're never back here again, knowing that you're okay is good enough for me. It's going all right. I had COVID 2 weeks ago, just trying to catch up on all things I couldn't do last week. Oh man, yeah, COVID's rough. I've had one confirmed case of COVID. That was last year. I suspect I had COVID in 2019 because I live out here in California. They say it hit California somewhere around November. It's just nobody knew about it. Because in December of 2019, I still remember this. I had this cold from hell. I could not shake it. I was down for the count. Everybody I know remembers that cold I had if they knew me back then. I suspect I had COVID back in the early days, but that was never confirmed. Well, I for sure had it last year, and it was whatever, but, you know, a couple vaccines later, it was went by pretty quick. This week should be more chill. I'm glad to hear that. How's the leaderboard? I'll show you for sure. It's interesting. We didn't really improve our rank much. Right now, I'm playing the Void Knight version of Hammer Smite. I think it's actually pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually pretty freaking strong. Well, yeah, let's show you the leaderboard. Yes and no. I have tried pushing. Thing is, it's kind of time consuming. And I would say this right here. You might be like, well, why are you pointing at this? This is the overall leaderboard, right? Like, why would the overall leaderboard matter? Well, second place on the overall leaderboard is a paladin. This is unheard of. In the history of this game, well, maybe not, but let's go over the Sentinel leaderboard. So if you're just tuning in, we're looking at the leaderboard. In week 2, was number 1. And then I started playing other stuff when I got pushed off. The thing is, right now, if you're not playing Healing Hands or some version of it, yeah. Yeah, right, Harry Spanker? Now, this is the solo leaderboard. I don't know what one player looks like. Well, let's see what the overall one player. So this is everybody. This is everybody who's not playing SAF like I am. This is everybody who's like possibly running Merchant's Guild, running with a whole bunch of other things. Yeah, this looks... Holy moly. Dude, even on this leaderboard, number 13 is a paladin running Healing Hands. Interesting. Oh, you're Garrett over on YouTube? Oh, hey, how's it going, man? Welcome on over. Yeah, so I was number 1 with this entry right here with Paladin. I had made it to 219 waves, and so then I was playing Smite Hammered In, and I kept running into the same issue. Time, like even just like, you know, 200 some odd waves, even when you're starting at wave 100. This song needs to go away. Shut up. Even at even when you're starting at wave 100, like this could still be like 20-30 minutes when I only stream 3 hours a night. Like this could turn into a good chunk of my evening. Oh, Harry Spanker or Garrett, thank you for following over here on Twitch. I appreciate it. So I kept running into this issue where I would push up, and then I'd either get one shot or I'd run into an issue where all my hammers would be getting eaten by terrain. And it just became very demoralizing trying to push the leaderboard because I'd get like one shot by something off screen because Smite Hammered In doesn't run any sort of ward generation, right? And so I'd have all these hammers, and then I'd hit like a pillar, a boat, a wall, something, and all my hammers would get eaten by the terrain, and then my DPS disappeared. So I quit playing Paladin. I didn't switch over to Healing Hands. Not that anything's wrong with playing Healing Hands. It's the meta. You're doing the meta. Good for you. I didn't want to do the meta. So then I actually went and did my Void Cleaver Racing Strike. I made it to 234, and then what happened is I was like fighting some enemies who hit me with like a ton of poison stacks, and I kept having to drink potions to cleanse. I ran out of potions. I killed all the enemies, and like, you know, a scene from a movie where the hero has just defeated all the enemies and then like just falls to his knees, dying from his own wounds. That's what happened to me. I killed all the enemies and I died. I killed them all, but I had run out of potions. The dots took me over. Where does the damage come from? It comes from healing hands. So the build's kind of crazy. What they're doing essentially is they're building healing hands, and then they're spamming the bejesus out of it with like a ton of cast speed in it and a ton of items, and they're utilizing this node right here, Divine Bolt. They rank this all the way up to level 5, and like the bolts just start firing in all these different directions. They take these nodes in the Paladin tree just to give it extra divine bolts. And yeah, it's kind of nutty. It's also, from what I've seen, it looks kind of boring. Because you spam the healing hands, you just stand still, you spam healing hands, and the divine bolts just auto find targets for you. I've talked to a few people who have played it at like the higher like 1,000 plus corruption. They're like, it's cool, but it's also kind of boring after a while, which is why I've stuck to more of these sweaty monkey builds. Well, I shouldn't call them monkey builds. These like sweaty, gotta hit all the buttons right builds. They're a ton of fun, but you're never going to be pushing high-end content. Yeah, it's not my play style, and that's why I'm not knocking anybody who's doing it. I'm not going to be all like, you're playing a build where you just stand there and then auto talk. No, none of that nonsense. It's a play style. It's a build in the game. Would I say that to somebody who might be movement impaired? That might be the best build in the game for them, because they maybe got like a ton of arthritis, and they put in the time playing different kinds of builds like that to get to that build. Would I say that to them? No. So I'm not going to say that to anybody. You know? It's a play style. It's just not my play style. Let's get some soda going. But they've already confirmed next, like in cycle 2, healing hands is going to be adjusted. I don't know in what way, but it's going to be adjusted. I personally played a variation of the healing hands builds when they were coming out in terms of the ward generation, because, you know, one thing about them is they generate a frick ton of ward. It's cool, but when you've generated that much ward, it's, especially, you know, the builds where you're just standing still and stuff is firing. I played Rive Healing Hands. It was cool. It generated a ton of ward. I just found it kind of boring. You know, I'm like, run up, hit a bunch of enemies with Rive, and then rinse and repeat. For a while it was cool, but after a week I just was like, it's a play style. Glad people like it. I'm gonna go play something else. So actually, if we go over to last Epoch tools and you go over to arenas, there's an arena leaderboard, ladders. So let's click on solo. Excuse me. Solo Sentinel. Let me bring this over here. Let me go and adjust this. We're going to turn on display capture. So you were asking, like, how does that play style work? Because obviously we're kind of making a judgment based off of the skills, right? Well, if you click on the character, because this isn't available in game, but this is available on Last Epoch tools, you can start to see what they did. So they were using Immolator's Ablation. They were taking Peak of the Mountain. Frostbite Shackles. Frostbite Shackles is really good for retaining ward. 2 Reens of Ashes of Mortality. They put a lot of healing effectiveness on there. Why? Because Healing Hands scales with healing effectiveness very well. Fiery Dragon Shoes. You put your movement speed on there, you're going to be moving really fast. Mad Alchemist Ladle. You get a T7 cast speed on there, and they're probably putting cast speed wherever you can put cast speed. Cast speed, cast speed, cast speed, along with healing effectiveness. Like this, like whoever Cole Smite God is, they put in a lot of work. They put in a lot of effort for this. So, you know, I mean, good for them. Like 4 LP items, 1 LP, a 2 LP ladle. I think this is impressive. It is doable, and they did all of this while solo account found with Circle of Fortune. So they get a ton of cast speed, and then they just go ham and cheese. We can look at exactly what they took right here. So all 5 points in Divine Catalyst. We can see the Holy Aura set up. You know, a lot more healing effectiveness, crit multi. Took this in the Sigils of Hope. You can see everything that they took thanks to Last Epoch tools. You can see they took the 11 points in Void Knight, 82 points in Paladin. Oh, so apparently Cole class is the player, and then these are their characters. Interesting. So they've played a lot of characters. Okay. All right. All right, let's get it to some gameplay. Back to what we're doing here. So yeah, Marvel Man, that was a long answer to say I didn't give in to the meta. Maybe if I had spent more time on the Void Cleave Erasing Strike, I could have pushed a little bit more, but like I said, when you've killed all the enemies and then you die to dots anyways, it's like, we had a good run. Anyway, guys, if you're interested in this build I am playing right now, it's not a complete carbon copy, but I did take inspiration from the Max Roll guide. So I put the link in the description over on YouTube to the Max Roll guide for Void Knight Smite Hammers. Or, yeah, Void Knight Hammer Smite, that's what we're calling it. And then if you're over on Twitch, you can use the build command. It's been updated with theirs. My build looks different. I will say Volca got a little indulgent with this build. It required some very rare items. Right. I've heard, I heard Perry the Pig saying that it was going to get adjusted. I personally have not heard anything official. I know Perry kind of has a different relationship with the developers than, you know, somebody like me. So I'm assuming his sources are good. But like you said, I haven't seen anything, only their stance on anything that's bugged. So as far as we could tell, and turns out I was probably wrong, it looks like Healing Hands isn't bugged. It just looks like it's performing very well. Because I personally was like, this is bugged, it's going to get fixed. It doesn't look like that's the case. Alright, let's go fight Raye. I mean, 279 corruption. We started at 100. Obviously, we got timelines with over 600 corruption that we did on a different build. So just fighting Orbis once instantly adds 100 corruption plus. One thing I'm liking about this build compared to the Paladin counterpart is there's so many hammers. Oh, did I not kill the cult? Yeah, Raye won't spawn if the cult members are alive still. There we go. I thought I killed that Joker. Yeah, so since you have your echoes throwing hammers as well, you end up with a ton of hammers. Like, the damage is not... Like, the damage is acceptable. It's not as high as the hammered in version, but there's just so many hammers. You have such great coverage. Yeah, Void Cleaver Racing Strike is awesome, but it's never been a very great bossing build. I've made it work, but it's, oh my god. Okay, I'm not seeing what we want. So we're just gonna have to fight the boss again. Well, yeah, but I see something. I see a two-handed sword. I swear to God, if this has LP on it, brother. Oh my God. Come on, give me an Eternal Eclipse of LP. This was the sword that I was using for that build I was telling you about, Harry. The Master Yi build, it focused off of this. So in Void Cleave, if you take 1 point in this node, Rift Flame, your Void Cleave gets split into both fire and void damage. And then that sword deals both fire and void damage, like in huge, almost broken amounts. And I didn't pick it up, so I can't show you what it says exactly. So I'll have to show you the one I got in storage after we do that. So yeah, I only ever found one with LP on it. And for the build, I needed oh, looks like I must have found another one with LP. Yeah. I mean, this isn't terrible, but I needed melee critical strike. So if we look at this allows void cleave to be both fire and void damage. They do 50-50. 50% fire, 50% void. So it doesn't 100% scale. It scales 50% with fire, 50% with void. In most cases, that's not great. But with this sword, it gives you a 210% increase in fire and there's a range. A 200 to 240% range on the fire and void damage increases. And you get those are static. Those are nice, but what's really nice about it is every 2 seconds, your next fire melee attack deals plus 227 melee void damage. So it's a flat void damage along with a time rot chance. And then on the flip side, every 2 seconds, your next void melee attack does a massive amount of flat fire. So if you think about that, that's actually not super great. You do a void move, you add a bunch of flat fire damage, which it doesn't scale with. So you're just tacking on some flat fire that doesn't really scale. But when your ability does both damage types at the same time, not only does both of those proc at the same time, but you scale with both of those, albeit at 50% values, that still equals... I think I did the math depending on which sword you have. That equals like a 215, 216 flat fire and void damage, because you're not going to get 400 flat. You're only scaling with 50% of each. And then on top of that, those damages get increased by the huge amounts of percentage increases that you have on the sword. So if you can get consistent damage with it in the form of melee crit, it does a ton of damage. But I only ever found 2 Eternal Eclipses with LP, and I could never get a T7 melee crit or any melee crit to go over. Because if I could get that, oh buddy, bro, it's sick. Yeah, it's a cool weapon. A 2-handed sword. I've been very unlucky with that. It hasn't dropped very often for me. The vast majority of the drops have been no LP on it. And then, like I said, I've only ever found 2 versions of it with LP, and I failed the slam. We do this one timeline and we'll be in the 400 corruption range. Let's do it, chat. I think this build can handle 400 corruption. Like I said, we got a timeline that's at plus 600 corruption, so it wasn't done with this build. That's why I've been hesitant to push corruption, but it's there. We can give it a shot. You know what? We should try one of the mages. I've always had bad luck with the Smite hammered ends because they've been so skinny. And it looks like honestly, I think I like this more than the hammered in version. I'm not gonna lie, chat. I think I like this more just because there's so many more hammers because your echoes are throwing hammers as well. Thanks, Harry. Thanks for stopping by, man. You have yourself a good night. Oh, I walked into the I didn't want to walk into the meteor. This punk. Yeah, let's do it. I should have just moved away. He caught me right in a corridor. I couldn't move. He does that one stupid ass little fire move. F you, bro. Fuck Gaspard. Fuck Panion. Oh my god. Okay, at least I got some room to move around on this one. There you go. That's how I feel about you, man. Love to see it. Love to see it. Another +3 to Void Cleave. Add it to the collection. Actually, I wanted to try Mad Alchemist Ladle against this boss. Where's the shred coming from? How are we shredding his resistance? Oh, I know why. Because we got... Oh, interesting. Okay. It's coming from Anomaly. So yeah, we're gonna.
Stand down or die.
Hey, what up, Kyle? How's it going, man? What's good, homie? That's an oxymoron. Damage over time and crit chance. Oh boy. Working on trying to find jobs. I got you. Just any kind of job, or just like, do you got a specific career field? Game design. Oh, sweet. 3D artist. Oh, so you're like working in... Do you use Blender? I mean, that's about as far as I know in 3D artwork, so I'm not going to act like, oh, yeah, dude, let's talk 3D artwork. I'm like, I've heard of Blender. Is that a thing? Yeah, I think Mad Alchemist Ladle is... Okay, we could try for a different one. I've used it. Maya's what you use. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. So actually, this was a pretty decently rolled. You have anywhere from 8 to 48. I don't have anything lower than a 26% chance. It's unfortunate that I got slow chance on there when it already has slow chance. All right, let's do some finagling. What's the range on it now? Not anything to write home about. 66. Oh, that was the lowest. Oh, okay, okay. 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 I'll take this. Okay. Since we're probably not going to need the frailty if we're going to stick with this. Since it already has frailty. Not to mention this 66, 72, 40% crit multi versus 47. So how long you been doing game design, Kyle? You just graduated. Ah, so you're getting into the field. Nice. 6 years. Okay. So what does the job market look like right now for 3D designers? Is it like a lot of contract work? You sign on for like 18 months. You'd rather be playing LE. I got you. Bad. I got you. Yeah, I've been hearing about the layoffs. I don't know if that was affecting 3D designers, but I mean, 6 years ago though, hell, even like 3 or 4 years ago, there was probably high demand. Yeah, everybody ballooned way up. Overhired, and now the market's correcting, because guess what? People like to go outside and touch grass. Yo, just anything that requires... Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's who I work for. I work for the military. I work as a cook, but I work for the military. Man, if you can get in, and you can get into like a GS position, bro. It'll probably never pay as well as, you know, working for like a game company, but like there's so much stability in working for the military, bro. I mean, at least for me, I'm considered mission essential. I feed people so they can go do their job. Or in this case, I feed their kids so they can go do their job. During COVID, I was working mission critical. Oh, so you'd be a contractor. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that contract work is still good for the military, but yeah, like a Gulf Stream, that makes sense. You'll have a job as long as the contract's with the military for sure. But I've known friends who were contract workers. They got paid really well, but then their company lost the contract and they were out of a job. I mean, I'm not trying to dissuade you, go for it. If you can get in, especially a company that's always going to get the contract, or just hop between companies whenever the contract gets shifted. I've known people who've done that too. They've like worked for 4 different companies, but they've kept the same job. They're like, oh, well, that company lost the contract. So I applied for the company that got the contract and I got the job and I've kept my same job. Anna Kirk. Actually, I'm an artist and I do 2D and 3D animation, digital artwork for streamers and very low prices. Would you like to see my work? Hit me up on Discord to see my skills. Anna Kirk. Anna Kirk, that is very, very kind of you to offer. I am not interested at this time. Thank you for following over on Kick. I don't think I have the financial freedom to be loyal to one job for more than a few years. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that when I've talked to people who have not necessarily directly talked to, but heard from people in the industry. Yeah, get your foot in the door too. That makes sense. How did I get into the military job? Pretty simple. So in 2009, during the great financial, like the Great Recession, that's what it was called. There wasn't a lot of job prospects for me. So I joined a Christian ministry as an intern. I was more interested in their music program that they had because, I was in my early 20s, right? All about that music. And that was cool, but, one of the things there is they actually give you like some like real world, like hands-on experience that you can, there's like no jobs during the recession. I couldn't find anything as a 20-something, as like a 20-year-old with no No prior work experience, nothing. Like, this was cool. So I went there, and one of their ministry placement for me was in their kitchen. And, you know, so originally I went there thinking I would get some hands-on music experience, which I did. I got to learn about, like, you know, the back end of stuff, like working in studios, sound design, roadie work, that sort of thing. That was all well and good, but I also saw how crowded that market was. And then I was thinking, food. Here I am working getting like real hands-on kitchen experience. I could take this anywhere. So eventually I left that ministry. I mean, I was an intern, so I wasn't being paid. Eventually I left that ministry, and I was cooking like 900 meals a day, right? And I came back here to California because I was in Texas. So I came back here to California, and the military was hiring. So I applied. I got an interview because it's the military. If you apply, at least in that position, I got an interview. Just come on in. And when I told them, yeah, I've been cooking 900 meals a day, and they're like, what? And then I told them the kind of work I was doing. They're like, that's very similar to what we're doing here, except just much less. I'm like, well, I got the right amount of experience, so I got the job. That was in 2012. I was 24. So I stayed with that job. In 2018, the guy who hired me, or at least was like, I want that guy. You know, he didn't directly hire me, but he left, so I took his job. So now I'm the head cook at a kitchen for the military, taking care of their children. 24, no work experience. Yeah, I got you, man. I'd like to tell you that the job market's better than it was back in 2009, but I have no idea. I haven't had to look for a job. The moment I got in there, I haven't left. I haven't looked at anything, bro. It's been crazy. It's been chaotic. There's times I've wanted to quit, but the benefits, man. I'm living in a house for the military. What up, Space Trucker? How's it going? I'm getting a discount on military housing. So I'm getting this 4-bedroom house for $2,000 a month, which, depending on where you live, that's either really expensive or holy hell. How the hell did you get a 4-bedroom house in coastal California for $2,000 a month? Military. And, you know, health insurance for me and my wife. Kai Pato, thank you for following over on Twitch. That's a steal for sure. Yeah. So I still got to pay utilities. So of course it comes up to more than $2,000 a month, but that's all good, you know. And for whatever reason on this block, my house has got fiber internet. 2 blocks over, my friends can't get fiber internet, but I got like actual fiber internet. I'm getting 1 gig up, 1 gig down. So the internet's super fast, so it's great for content creation. One of these rooms that I'm in right now is the office. So yeah, I just work a lot. By the way, Space Trucker, I wanted to tell you, thanks for coming out on Saturday when we were playing Stolen Realm, man. Your commentary was hilarious. Can fiction do it? I think our boy can. That's a super steal. My rent is 1,000 square foot house. Okay. Yeah, out here that would be absolutely amazing, but I got you. Boys, man, it was sick. Watched it, loved it. Yeah, but you're out there in southern Georgia. I don't know where you are in Georgia. Southern Georgia's fine. You don't have to tell me where. Yeah, this house is, I think it came out to like 1,500 square feet, but it's got like a backyard and a front yard, carport. It's old though. I mean, this is like 1950s. Because where I'm at now, this used to be a military base. They got shut down back in the day, but the old officer housing was left open and converted into civilian housing that's managed by a company on behalf of the military. And there's still a military garrison out here. It's just nowhere near as big as it was back in the day. Nowhere near. Holy. It was the biggest base that was ever shut down. No worries, man. It was sick to watch. Loved it. Yeah, that was a fun game. If No Rest for the Wicked is a bit of a flop, I might be switching over to that game for a little while before Cycle 2 of Last Epoch. I don't really have too many more builds I want to do on this cycle of Last Epoch. I got a ton of gear, but I don't want to level anything new. That's the thing. I don't want to go like level an Acolyte and try out Wraithlord's Harbor or anything. It's thinking about that grind. I'm just no. I've done it enough times this cycle. Well, and not to mention the turnout on that game, man, was amazing. Like, a lot of people who didn't even know who I was tuned in to watch me get destroyed on Stolen Realm. Yeah, it was really good, man. It was a really good turnout. It did pretty decent on YouTube, too. Hey, what up, Cold Brew? How's it going? It's actually going pretty decent. We started at 100 corruption. I already went to a different timeline and pushed it to like 400 plus corruption. So what you guys are seeing right now is not 100 corruption. This is 400 plus corruption. I didn't bother changing the title of the stream. I left it. Yeah, it looks super spicy. Oh, excuse me. I like this build a lot because with the echoes, they're throwing hammers too, and it just kind of joins the big circle we got here, and it's actually giving us a lot more hammers than we would get on like Smite and Hammered In. So we're getting a lot better coverage in terms of hammers. If you guys tuned in when I was playing Smite Hammered In, my chief complaint was sometimes, not necessarily against mobs, but against like single targets, there would be like gaps in the hammers that would just naturally appear over time, whereas here we got a lot more hammers from the echoes. +3 hammer throw, you love to see it. Yeah. So I wonder how something like a bleed hammered in would be on bleed hammer would be on Void Knight. Because here's the thing. You're always going to get more damage out of Paladin, because when you look at the passives for Void Knight, they get a 75% increase to melee void damage. Since we're not doing melee, this is basically null and void. This does nothing. Whereas down here, your melee attack, throwing attack, and void spells have a 10% chance to be repeated by echoes. And then we took every chance to increase our echoes. I wish this Time Legion would be increased attack speed, not melee attack speed. I wish this was just increased attack speed, because look down here. We take a reduced 10% attack speed. This would be sick if this was just attack speed. So anything, spells, throw-in attacks, melee attacks, they would all be increased by this instead of just melee attacks. There's so many nodes on the Void Knight tree that are sick. So you use throw-in attack speed to boost it? What do you mean? Yeah, on the gear you take throw-in attack speed just so you can throw your hammers faster, and then if you look at the tree, the echo chance. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So if you have more throw-in attack speed, yeah, you have more of a chance to spawn an echo. And one really cool thing about Time Legion is you get that 30% melee attack speed. I'm saying I want that to be attack speed. I want Void Knight to feel less... what's the word? Cramped? They got like a few nodes here, like Temporal Corruption, Void Bolts. This node is sick. This node right here is sick. You gain one void, so you gain one flat damage per vitality for Smite. So I have 49 vitality, I have 49 flat spell damage for Smite. I think that's sick. Because then what that allows you to do, if I can get more vitality, right? Like I need to get vitality here. If I can get vitality on the rings, not only would that give me health, but that gives me flat spell damage. That works really well with something like a Mad Alchemist Ladle. The build that I got the idea from, Maxworld.gg, the Volka's build guide, he called for Ron Warp. I'm guessing he's using Ron Warp because you get that 3% increased spell damage per 1% increased movement speed. But the thing is, the Ron Warp he's calling for is a 2 LP, which I've never found a 2 LP Ron Warp. And then to get like some T7 crit spell critical strike chant, I went with Mad Alchemist Ladle. It's a lot easier to find one of these. I think I like this better. Like at first the damage doesn't seem that good, and then all of a sudden you get all of your ailments to go onto a target, and then the damage just jumps up because you gain 6% more spell damage per negative ailment on the target, up to 8. So your shred armor, your electrify, your poisons, your slows, your ignites, your bleeds, your shred resistances, all of that is considered a negative ailment. And they capped it. It didn't used to be capped, but then it got nerfed because people were just stacking so many negative ailments on a target and just getting insane spell damage. I think this is fine. So yeah, when I'm using the hammer throw, you'll see my little guys going off right there. They throw a hammer too, and what happens is it joins the pool here. So you end up getting a ton of hammers here in your little pool going on. Now, I will say this build still has some of the same issues that just regular hammered in has, which is like this wall. All my hammers just got eaten. All my DPS just disappeared. Now I got to spend time trying to resummon my hammers again. My ideal slam is going to depend on LP, so let's just take a 2 LP. Would probably be a T7 spell critical strike chance. Yeah, so I would say a tier 6 or tier 7 spell critical strike chance. Preferably tier 7. And then either a critical... So then either critical strike multiplier, right? Yeah, so like critical strike multiplier, I wanted to check and make sure I can put it on wands first before I said anything. So either a critical strike multiplier or spell damage. I think either one would be acceptable. Spell damage, possibly just to boost the spell damage you're already getting, but I think critical strike multiplier is also acceptable. do we want to put on here? It's already got shock. Spell lightning damage. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. It's a little pigeonholed in there. We'll put like an ignite. Oh, that was unlucky. Unlucky. I might still try and slam that. Mana and mana regen, that's not too bad. Cast speed, I don't want that. YOLO! Hey, it worked. It's already got a shock, so let's put chill. Okay, like this one isn't too bad. I can't use it on this build. You know what I might be able to use this for, though, is on my Hammered In, though. I mean, it's got spell critical strike chance, critical strike multiplier, ignite on hit, and chill on hit, and it's already got shock on hit. Yeah. Void Pin? Yeah, Void Pin would be perfectly acceptable. Let's break that one down. Might have to try it out. Yeah, give it a shot. Tell me what you think. I'll be right back, chat. All right, I'm back, chat. Had to get my beverage. I don't have a potion. We might be dead. No.
Stand down or die.
Can we get a potion, please? What the? Was that just the no mana game? Okay. Okay. I think we've righted the ship here. Hey, Bike. Gonna sleep early tonight. Catch you tomorrow, brother. Busy Monday. You know how it is. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Catch you later. Thanks for stopping by, Space Trucker. let's look for some wands.
I knew you had something to ask. It would be my pleasure to satisfy your curiosity.
Yeah, we might, just because it's a weapon one, might have to go.
I knew you had something to ask. It would be my pleasure to satisfy your curiosity.
Grab the wand. Defeat Jorah. Sure. You cannot pay me enough money to go fight Gaspar. Go and beat Lagan or do a tier 3. We can do a tier 3 at some point. One LP run, Warp. Let's go. Oh, shit. Don't die, don't die. Oh. And he dropped a freaking... Oh. Loser. Dropped a freaking Mad Alchemist. I'm dead. Oh, I'm not dead. Please die.
Stand down or die.
What is going on? Why are my hammers despawning? No, they don't. They're a boss item. The boss being the Mad Alchemist. So when I died to to the Mad Mage or whatever he's called, when I died and I saw him drop a wand, I knew it was a Mad Alchemist ladle. Okay, well. Yeah, I don't know what kind of LP it was. It could have been... I'm pretty sure they drop with LP. So we got that one LP. It could have just been a 1 LP, so I mean, no point in crying about spilled milk, but yeah, no, we'll dump that. Okay, so I only got one more 2 LP Mad Alchemist ladle. Alright. The branch wand? Yeah, are you talking about the Mad Alchemist ladle, the unique birch wand? Are you talking about Ron Warp? As far as I'm aware, if he only drops the Mad Alchemist ladle, I mean, I suppose you're right. He could just drop any wand in the game, but I've mostly just gotten 1 LP from him. I've only gotten 3 2 LP. I guess I shouldn't even get rid of this. Keep it as a trophy. Because my only other 2 LP is this one. Okay, chat. I need to know something. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch Volka's video after this. I want to know why he's recommending Ron Warp. Because he actually did have Mad Alchemist Ladle on the build up until February 20th. And then he subbed in Ron Warp. Everything I could see on Ron Warp, like I'm trying to see it. The only thing I can think of is the 3% increased spell damage per 1% increased movement speed. I don't see anything else that we could get from it that would help the build. I mean, there's also the chance to gain haste. That could be something. And haste affects your movement speed. I've only just recently hit empowered monos, but I've only gotten 1 LP ladles. I got you. Yeah, I haven't found too many 2 LPs. Depends. I mean, if you're constantly killing those guys, you'll probably find plenty of them. I haven't been that lucky with the Mad Alchemist. I was going to put us at like over 500 corruption. Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm surviving that. Nope, I ain't doing that one, Chief. He summons a bunch of black holes and then just floods the entire map.
Stand down or die. Stand down or die.
Oh, shield looks awesome. Yeah, thanks. It's a cosmetic from the store. It's the only shield cosmetic in the store, too. Is this what you're talking about? The fire one with the eyeball on it? Like the Eye of Sauron kind of looking around? Does it follow my mouse? Kind of looks like it's following where my mouse goes. I don't know. I think it just has a mind of its own. Oh, Shield Rush. Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. It does look cool. Oh, you said shield skill. I missed it. Yeah.
Stand down or die.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down for the night. I will be back again tomorrow. I gotta be to work at like 6:30 a.m. We'll be doing more of this tomorrow. More Void Knight Hammer Smite, and same again on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, no, actually Wednesday I will not be streaming. I got an engagement. I'm not an engagement. I won't be here. I got stuff I got to go do. Then on Thursday, no rest for the wicked. So, looking forward to that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Void Knight Hammer Smite is pretty cool. Thanks, Cold Brew. Yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. You guys have yourself a good one. Bye.